Hi, this is Varun, and I am the QA trainer for software testing and automation basics for the weekend batch. And I'm just giving you the information on the curriculum that we'll be covering for the weekend batch. On week 1, day 1, we'll be covering all the topics related to software development cycle. So when we start about QA testing, we just don't want to concentrate only on the QA training. We want you to learn the information within the IT industry, like how the organization will be working and what are the main key elements for the organization to work. So we'll be covering topics related to software development lifecycle and also how QA plays a very important part along the way. So the first day will be covering all the information about software development lifecycle, and the topics that are covered underneath are what is a system, what is the application, what is SDLC in particular, and any different phases within SDLC. So once we define the phases, I'll go through each individual phase, go through the definition, and also emphasize more on the concentration of each individual phase and how it's related to quality assurance. On day 2, we will move on to software testing, and I'll give you an introduction like what is quality assurance. So most of them assume that they know what is quality assurance and what is testing, but there are two different terms, and there is a quality control also. So we need to understand different types, definitions for the quality assurance, and we need to focus on more information related to testing, like life cycle testing or independent testing, and what are the different levels of testing, if there are any factors involved within the software quality. So all that will be covered on the day 2. On week 2, day 1, we will go in details on the SDLC models and methodologies. There are different types of models, so we need to go through each individual model. There is waterfall model, there is agile model, there is again V model, or iterative model. So all these models will be covered with examples. I'll go with real lifetime examples. So when I describe about each individual module, I might specify a particular company or organization which I have worked in the past, and I'll give you a clear glimpse of like how the model will work. And we will also go through some of the importance of like what model is best than the other model, and agile is being considered most in the recent projects. So I will go through agile methodology in detail so that you will get familiar. When you work on a real-time project, it will give an ample opportunity to focus on the agile. On day 2, week 2, we'll be covering different types of testing. There are lots of types of testing, and I'll go through all of them, and we need to learn the definitions, and we might go through an example also. On week 3, day 1, I will go through software testing lifecycle, which is in part of the SDLC. So how it is different with SDLC, that will be covered. What are the different phases in the testing lifecycle will be defined, and we'll go through some examples. On day 1, week 3, we will also go to the test plan document, what are the contents of test plan document, and how you need to learn each individual component. I'll give you a sample test plan, and we will fill that information. And also at the end of the session, I will give you a homework, and I'm going to use an application called Orange HRM application. It's a human resource management application. So this particular application you will use to write the test plan. I'll give you the requirements. I will give you any requirement related documentation that needed for writing the test plan. On day 2, week 3, we will go in more detail about test designing. So this is where we actually write the test cases, high level scenarios and test cases, and how you write about the test cases. We will talk about all that content in here, and there is a defect life cycle that you need to learn and you need to understand. So that will also cover. At the end of session, as you can see here, there will be a quiz. I'll ask questions, and I'll pick each individual candidate to answer the questions, so that you concentrate on the topics, and in case you don't understand, then I can repeat again and make sure that you are on track for the course. The homework will be a high level scenario document that need to be filled for the Orange HRM application. Week 4, day 1, I will give you live opportunity to work on Quality Center. I have Quality Center installed on my machine, so I'll give you access to even write test cases on Quality Center. I will write first, then I'll show you how to do it, then you can do it. We'll write test cases, we'll execute test cases, and we'll write the defects. All will be covered on week 4, day 1. So anything that we can't cover, that will be moved on to day 2 of week 4. Another important topic that I want to cover is the web environment and architecture. So without the architecture and the actual environment that you might be working in the future, you won't be able to perform well in your job. So in order to do that, you need to understand architecture. You need to know what is application server, you need to know what is a web server, anything related to database, all will be taught here. So this is only the basic information, we won't go into technical details, this is for your understanding. On week 5, day 1, I will go in detail into the test automation, where I'll be covering the topics on Quick Test Pro and Selenium. So the first day we will focus more on like different types of automation and how to choose automation versus manual, and then we will go into basic content of QTP. So this is only the basics class where you will just get a glimpse of like how QTP works and how Selenium works. But the actual training will be provided in one of other class, which is automation testing using QTP or automation testing using Selenium. Those are the branches that you need to consider if you want to move towards automation. I strongly recommend that you get trained on these courses and to succeed in a real project. On day 2, last week, which is week 5, I will go a little more in depth into QTP, and I'll show how to read and write, record and write execute test scripts. Then we'll go into a little bit of VB scripting, not in detail, but just over glimpse. Then and also I'll walk you through the other training curriculums that we are providing at this stage. And I can also give you some tips on the resume preparation. If you are searching for a job in quality assurance, you need to have a good resume. So I'll give you some ideas and suggestions. It's up to you, like how you want to prepare, and I can review your resumes and correct it. Once we are done with the resumes, what I'll do is I'll set up a mock interview. So I'll do a quick 15-minute interview with you and make sure that you perform just like in real time. I have approximately done around 50 interviews for my different clients, and I have hired people in the past, so I know how to identify people, a good resource versus a not so good. So I want you to be at that stage, so that in case you're searching for a job, and you should represent and market yourself in the interview. So I'll make sure I'll correct your mistakes, I'll suggest you how to do better. So that concludes the entire session for the manual testing curriculum. This is the weekend batch, and the weekdays batch will be, the content will be similar, but we'll be covering on the weekdays. Like we'll have 2 hours class every day. On weekend batch we'll have 4 hours class each. That will approximately we'll have 35 to 40 hours of the entire session. Thank you very much for going through the demo, and I'll see you in class. Thank you.